Hello, welcome to a great day with Hunter Mizar, and today a special guest, Joe Malay, who is the most recent Hall of Fame in the golf scene that there is. And so I'm here at Rolling Hills right now. Joe, tell us a little bit about this whole experience with golf and how it's just become something that's been iconic for you and Weiser.
And first of all, Joe Malay from Weiser, Hunter. And where did you get your first name, Hunter?
My parents were reading this book and were captivated by the character, and so they said, that's a great name, and just kind of hung on to it.
Well, I had a great name, but after I was 3 years old, they changed it. I was born Frank Joseph Malay, named after my grandfather, moved to Weiser, Idaho, and his name was Joseph, and they said, if he's going to be in my house, we're going to call him Joe. So I became Joe. I was born in Boulder, Colorado in 1948 at 12:01 a.m. I have two birthdays. I have one on the 23rd and one on the 24th. So I'm kind of unique in that situation that my train of thoughts don't run on tracks. I enjoy people. I enjoy traveling. Golf has been an unbelievable deal. When I was born in Boulder, Colorado, my dad was a golf professional at Cherry Hills, which is a world-renowned golf course in Boulder. And so I was kind of around the golf scene. Grew up caddying for people, caddying for Russell Stover, the candy entrepreneur, and
now, what did that pay back in the day?
I paid $2.50, and if you were a good caddy, they'd buy you a drink or something at the snack shack. And when I was young, we didn't have a lot of money, so my drink of choice was tomato juice with a little salt on it. So that was just, I was doing an exceptionally good job to get that tomato juice when I was caddying. So got to caddying, got drafted in 1967 by Mr. Nixon, who got impeached and went into the Marine Corps. I served my time, a fellow Marine here. And one of the best times of my life being fighting for our country, working for our country. To this day, Mr. Hunter, I think every graduating senior, male and female, ought to have 1 year military service to grow up, mature, take orders, and learn what this United States of America is about, because it is the best country ever. Yeah. And the next country I've gone to is Weiser, Idaho. Weiser is, when I say I'm Joe Malay from Weiser, it just cuts down the conversation because, A, I'm Joe Malay and I do live in Weiser. They don't have to ask where you're from and whatever. And I'm proud to say I'm from Weiser. I graduated from Weiser here in 1967. I should have been valedictorian, but to pull some politics and give it to a smart person, so I know that works. So, and was at the old institute. We were the last class to graduate out of the old institute. Then they went across there. So I went across the ocean, went in the seas, went over there, got out of the Marine Corps, had no bad times, every good memories and whatever. And I got back and I said, what are you going to do with the rest of your life? And I thought, I've lived in a lot of different places. I lived in 3 houses in 2 days once, which is a lot, you know. So I thought I'm just go back to Weiser. I knew people, I knew golf, and golf was a thing that it didn't matter on your ethnics, on your skills, on your size. Yeah. I was a pretty good baseball player. To this day, I've been very fortunate that I've never had a beer, never had a cigarette, and I don't swear, and I don't cheat on my wife. And probably because of Mickey Mantle. He came and spoke to our school and said, if you're going to be an athlete, you can't drink or smoke. And at that time, baseball was, was a king. You know, it was the only thing that was out, only thing that was publicized, carried on the portable radios that we listened to. So Mickey Mantle was this giant of a man.
And he came to Weiser to speak.
He came to Shawnee Mission West in Overland Park, Kansas.
Okay.
And so that's when I was back there. So he spoke, and I thought that, and I followed that dream, and I never did get drafted or anything into the Hall of Fame for the baseball, but I did take by Nixon in the Marine Corps, then came back to Weiser because of that, and played on the baseball team here. Coach Hansen was my coach, and I wasn't the best player, but I could throw hard and run fast. I thought, what a country, I'm going to grow up to be a baseball player. But because of baseball and milk and cows when I was younger, I had good hands, and my strength in my golf game has always been I hit the ball further than most, and at my age, 76, I can still hit it pretty far. I've been fortunate enough to.
So you still play?
I played yesterday, in fact, and this golf course is not mine, but everybody that's a member here should consider it theirs, because it is part of you as part of the community. I came up and volunteered and changed the cups yesterday. We put out what they call winter cups. 2 cups, one for the front 9, one for the back 9. They're going to get frozen in, they're going to stay there. So in Weiser, you can golf year-round up here. So, and I do. This time of year, I get a little busy. I try to help out Santa Claus. He calls me from the North Pole, and so, Joe, what are you doing this month? Well, luckily, I got this month off, but what can you need? So I'll try to help him out. And by Weiser helping me out, I try to help Santa Claus out, get him down here. And like I say, we get to go, and I I have a friend that worked at Walmart, and after they have their little specials, what they call trick or treat Halloween, you can buy all their candy for 50 or 75% off. Well, if you got $500, you get 75% off. All of a sudden, that's $876 you get to buy candies. And Santa appreciates me going to the store, getting these things, throwing these pretty good sized candy bars out there instead of just one little, candy cane or something. So it's been an unbelievable cycle. I'm like a wheel. I just keep rolling and rolling. People ask me, when are you going to retire? When are you going to do that? I said, well, you can't retire until you do something. I made a mistake not getting a job when I was younger in life, so I'm independently happy. And, I'm just going forward and living every day to the fullest because we don't know what tomorrow gives. But I know that if you can give more today, you're going to be better about tomorrow and helping people out and going forward.
Yeah. So talk to us a little bit about how you help Santa. Because Ho Ho Express is really famous in Weiser, and you were kind of one that helped bring this to town, right?
They do. They have a radio station. I can't remember the call letters, but we'll call it KORN, and a Christmas wish.
Okay.
And the Christmas wish that Joe Malay sent in is he's a friend of Santa Claus. And Santa was saying one day he had this child on his knee that looked down at his shoes, and Santa told Joe that, hey, this guy's shoes are quite large. How come they're so big? And he said, Santa asked him, he said, well, my shoes are big because they're not mine, they're my mom's. And he wanted for Christmas a simple pair of shoes.
Wow.
So when Joe heard this story and related to Santa, he went out and helped Santa get this child 3 pairs of shoes. 1 pair of boots, 1 pair of tennis shoes, and 1 pair of kick-around shoes.
Wow.
And when Joe wrote this into the radio station, they heard this request to help out the kids that go see Santa Claus in Weiser to get them a gift. They won the gift that year, and I think it was a $500 gift that they give. So Joe was able to make this money available to Santa. Santa doesn't buy everything. He makes a lot of things. He has a lot of elves up the North Pole.
Sure.
But sometimes when you need a size 7 sneaker for a kid, sometimes he goes and purchases them different places. So we were able to get that started, and because that started, and then other people heard about it, and I would go and knock on doors for different people because I thought the more funds we could get for Santa to take these kids on the bus. And now I think, Hunter, we've got up to, in the last couple of years, we've had about 250 kids get on these buses that to get to go shopping. We get about 250 volunteers to go with them because a lot of these kids can't count to 50 and want to get the right size, shape, color, and their item that they're going to get. So we're about 500 people strong with the Ho Ho Express. Wow. We get the Idaho State Police, we get the Weiser Police, they contact the Payette Police, they get the Fruitland Police, they get an escort into Ontario with the OSP, and they have these police escorts. And to get these escorts coming from Weiser to Walmart is amazing because most of these childs in the buses have had the police cars behind them and pulling them over, talking to mom and dad, and now they are the limelight of the parade, and they're there, and they're celebrating these kids getting to go shopping with Santa Claus. And Santa gets to go with the police and go in the store and watch them shop and watch them buy these things. And you wouldn't believe what some of the things they buy. One of the most unique things that Santa told me about, this one kid walked back with a roll of duct tape.
Okay.
And the duct tape is expensive and it's good. And so Santa had to ask this 7-year-old boy, why are you buying duct tape? And he said, well, my dad has got a pickup and the window's broke. I'm going to tape up the window for him.
Wow.
If that doesn't move you, it moves Joe and it moves Santa.
Yeah.
And anytime you can take a kid shopping to buy duct tape, you know that means something to him.
Sure.
It made him feel good. It made his dad stay warm, and it's just a complete cycle. It takes a village, and there is a village in Weiser. I mean, there's a we and there's an I in Weiser, but it takes everybody to make this successful. Like I said, when we do the Ho Ho Express, and when I started out slow, and Santa would say, Joe, you're kind of getting this pretty awkward. You can't take these kids shopping and take them back to school, leave them in school because the person beside them doesn't have a gift, they have a gift, they don't want to study. Right. So we started doing it later in the season, just the last day of school's out, take them shopping, let them go and whatever. And I think we started out with 27, and last year I think it was 412 children that we've got to help out in the area because of donation to the Santa Fund down at the Zion's Bank and to get them to go and whatever. So it's just... I know as Joe Malay enjoys it, talking to Santa and the people that goes around, they enjoy it. We've seen people, if you've ever been involved to it, I think living in the news has been fortunate enough to see it. People pull over.
Well, my kid's in high school, always look forward to helping out a kid and walking around. It's a great
And
opportunity for high school kids.
It's a
even
great
to get
opportunity
involved
for that, and a lot of those kids in high school, Hunter, were
Sure.
got to go shopping, so they're giving back and passing it forward. And it's the biggest turnout. I talked to the superintendent of schools. The biggest turnout they have the whole year is the kids that volunteer to sign up. I mean, if there's 300 kids in a high school, we get 250 going on a Friday, the day they get out of school, to take these kids shopping and to see how their chemistry is, to see the joy and the fun. I mean, you might get a little runner that's got, already planned where he wants to go. And like I tell him, if you can't run real fast, get a shopping cart, put them in there and try to get them going, because all of a sudden they're gone and you got to find them.
Yeah. Now, tell me a little bit about the parade itself, because you've kind of had a little part in the big, I think it's one of the coolest things Weiser has, is this big Christmas parade that we do. I mean, tell me, how did this start?
Well, it started out, they had a small parade, and they started doing a little bigger parade, and then they didn't want a parade, and then why are we going to do a parade? And then all of a sudden, let's have a night parade. It just seemed like the night is more festive, the lights are better, so now we lighten up the town. We've had combinations of things that work, and so now it's got to be one of the most enjoyable parades.
Sure.
And then Billy Taylor from the city was very instrumental about raising funds and shooting the fireworks off, because I've talked to Santa Claus when he's done throwing out the candies for parade. He gets to go out there. He said one of the joys is watching the kids light the tree and watching the fireworks go off and whatever. So they get to see all these boom, bangs, and everything right behind there. And like I say, the parade is incredible, because if you get a chance, you should kind of go in the parade, watch the parade. I know Santa says, every once in a while he gets back to the North Pole and he'll call me up, Joe Malay and Weiser, got a couple of minutes, and I'd like to talk to you how I think the parade went, what we think we need to do better.
Right.
And I said, yeah. He said, everything goes well. He said, you get to start at the middle school, and then you get to go by these care centers. And, we want to make sure we want to include everybody. The young people and the older people and those who are in the care centers can't get out, can't get dressed, can't go downtown and sit on the streets. So Santa said, let's go by their residence, where they live, their housing, and let's make their evening. Let's cheer. Let's go rah, and throw them candies and take up them and give them away. It's amazing just to say hi to Santa.
Sure.
I mean, he tells me how much enjoyment he gets out of just somebody waving and screaming, Santa Claus, I'm over here. And he says of all the parades he goes, and he goes to hundreds of thousands of them, this little town of Weiser goes above and beyond most all other communities on what they do and how they give out. The streets are decorated. We used to have the Vindle. We have the Festival of Trees.
Right.
This all ties everybody together. Everybody's got a different type of string they're trying to make a bow out of. And all we got to do is just make sure there's enough bows to go around to all those that need one.
Now, Joe, I got to ask you, I've known about you, we've never met, but one of the things that's so unique is your dress attire. Tell me, where do these clothes come from? Because you stick out in a great way. There's so much fashion. You can't just buy these clothes right off the rack anywhere, right?
You can't. I tell people that don't know me, you have to be the first one at the yard sale to find these bargains I get.
Okay.
But it started when I was young and in my prime. I grew up in Kansas City, and Doug Sanders was a flashy golfer, and he wore all these flashy clothes and got all the attention.
Right.
But then I went to, if you got $6 in your pocket, you got to go buy your high school wardrobe. You don't have a lot of money.
Yeah. And
everything that's on sale is something no one else wants. And usually it's an odd size, an odd color, an odd shape. And I thought, that's a $30 shirt on sale for $1 or 50 cents. So I start buying. And I'm comfortable in my attire. I'm not as steel belted like tires they are. But if I don't turn ahead or somebody comment when I go by, I know it must be wash day because I didn't have the right things on. Because I'm comfortable in whatever color I am, whatever outfit I am. And if they match, wonderful. If they don't match, that's even better. And I've had people holler at me, honk at me on the road when I go by, and to me that makes my day. So I'm comfortable about being me. I'm not ashamed about being me. I used to have a lot more hair, and it used to be darker, and I still have my natural from there. I always like the First Amendment, the freedom of speech is wonderful. I like to talk, I like to speak, and and if you can speak your mind through colors, that's me, Joe Malay from Weiser.
Yeah, one of my good friends is Larry Lee. And I think he has a bone to pick with you because he has license number 2.
You know what I call Larry?
And you
Hashtag loser.
You have number 1. I mean, how long have you been holding on to that one?
Well, it's kind of interesting. I care for young people. I care for older people. And the people that had this, both of them had no children. and I helped both of them in their older years, and he was the mayor of Weiser for a while.
Okay.
And when they quit giving it down, passing it down, they just left it with him.
Uh-huh.
And so all of a sudden they decided he's going to keep it, and I talked to both of them, and they passed away, and their nephew come up and said, Joe, this license plate has been willed to you, documented
Wow.
to the Weiser Department of Motor Vehicles. If you want license plates W1, you can have it. So I've had that probably for like 28 years now.
Yeah.
And there again, people that don't know Joe Malay from Weiser, I kind of give them this deal. I kind of embarrassed to say that, but in Washington County, you get your license plate by your IQ. Blow on the pole.
Well, you've seen the community change, I'm sure, through the years. And some people are negative and some people are positive. I mean, how do you feel things have gone? Because it looks different even than it did 10 years ago. How do you feel the community of Weiser's going?
You know, it can only go the way you see it. And you can see things through rose-colored glasses, or you can see things through gloom. And my deal is, let's look at the bright side. There's too much brightness out here to let the dark overshadow us.
Yeah.
You know, we just don't need that. And no one's perfect, and no community's perfect. But if it isn't perfect, and you want to make a change, get up there and try to make a change, and try to make it for the bulk of the people, not for yourself.
Yeah.
I look at this golf course, I'd say, this is my golf course. And I look at the changes we've made. We've had trees that I planted that's been cut down. They were too close to the greens. They're causing frost. They were causing problems. Did I like cutting the trees down? No. Did I like the improvement? Yes, I did. So you've got to kind of wait and see where the difference is. I mean, this little community of Weiser has been here for a long time. I mean, it's grown, it's shrank, it's spread out, but it's still Weiser, Idaho. And typically when you leave town, you come back to Weiser, everybody says, I'm from Weiser. The first thing they say is, do you know Joe Malay? Second thing they say is, like you asked, what was he wearing? Because that is my identity.
Sure.
And my identity is Weiser, Idaho, population 4,608. I know 4,600, and the other 8 know me. So it's good to be small. It's good to be able to open doors. If I wanted to go down to the city now and get something special for the Christmas tree to light up for Santa, they will allow me to do that. If I need something, the police department will need an escort. If Santa needs a ride downtown, he can call me. I can call the police. They can get a ride downtown. I mean, there's things you can do in Weiser you can't do anywhere else.
Sure.
Santa cashed a check in Weiser at Ridley's store.
Really?
And just signed it Santa Claus. The people in front, behind him, were from out of town. And the comment was, I'm ready to die, I've seen it all. They just took a check from Santa Claus in Weiser, Idaho.
Right.
Santa didn't tell them the rest of the story, cashed the check and went out shopping and had lunch somewhere else. But that's the things that can happen in our town of Weiser. And welcome to Weiser, and let's make it a better place.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Joe, thanks for all you do for Weiser, and it is a great community. And this is why we're doing these videos, to highlight good people just like you, because this is a great community to live in. So, hey, thank you for watching, and we'll see you real soon.